What's going on? So, I kind of had the thought to talk about what photography is to me. And figured while I was doing this, I would kind of go through some of these images in here and just kind of talk about photography, even though I guess you would say my two categories, or my two main categories, aren't equally represented here. But yeah. So, to me, photography is, in one way, can be documenting like a trip, documenting a vacation. I guess it all, sub to that could be, documenting an event or something. Maybe you're documenting, that the traffic's really heavy somewhere, or that you're documenting, some like kind of documentary type photography. The other option is that it can be for a creative, artistic means. So, like this image that you've been looking at, if you're looking through the images or watching the video as it's playing, you're not just listening to the audio, is, this was done in an artistic way. I'm not trying to document, say after a bad, storm or something, that there's debris caught up in it or something, or it's damaged. This was done in an artistic manner. You have that leading line of the corner going up the tower. So, it was done in an artistic fashion to me. Same with this image. It's not documented that the pole's broken or anything like it would be if it was, documenting something. And it's not, an event that I want to photograph to remember for later on. But, it was done more in a, hey, I kind of thought it was a cool shot. I was taking a walk one day and I just happened to look up and it was like, that might make for a cool photo. This, I guess you could say, was, a little bit of both. This was actually documenting a trip. This was, can't remember the name of the place, but it was outside of a little cafe, and just taking a photo of this couple. While I was sitting there waiting on my drink, and I saw this couple, and I was like, hey, maybe make for a good shot. This, goes back to the artistic side. It was leaving that place and seeing that. Same thing with this, the artistic side, just the graffiti on the trash can and just kind of the contrast between the light and dark of that. Again, same here. This was done in artistic, and I'm actually using this image here as the background on my iPad. I actually kind of have it about like that. I never did crop in on the original image just because, but on the background I cropped it for that to be where I just kind of showed you. This again was just, just a random snapshot in a grocery store. I guess, if this had been during, a trip somewhere, I could say it could be either or. And that's the thing. It's like, this one I liked because, of all the things that are like vertical and stand, you have the one cone that fell over. But my thing, whenever you're on a vacation or you take a trip, and you could do both. You can do the creative shots, and you can also do, the documentary type shots, family photos and whatnot. And you're not, sometimes I'll go somewhere and there are shots mixed in there. I just, they're, shots I don't want to, because either people in the picture don't want their photos out online, and I respect that. But, like this image, I could see the way the light was, that, you had the dark exterior and you had the bright lights on inside the restaurant. So I knew you were going to get that contrast to where the image, was going to, and I wanted it to expose for the scene inside the restaurant. If I would have exposed for outside, it would have exposed properly and made it a lot brighter. But inside would have been, over, the highlights and everything would have been blown out. So, and if you're new to photography, when someone says blown out, it's like on these bulbs, they're all overexposed. They're completely white. I can't bring their levels down and be able to see that filament in there. The highlights there are just way overexposed. Not that I'm trying to see the filament in a bulb, but if you were to take and expose just for a light bulb, there's a good chance you would actually be able to get a photo with just the filament glowing in there, because it's going to stop down your aperture so much, and it's going to drop your ISO and speed up your shutter speed, and that's going to take and close off a lot of that light to where it'll just expose for the glow of the filament. And not all lenses will be able to do it. Not all cameras will be able to, adjust that low, but there is that ability. This was, just a shot of a little bingo hall, casino, little place. It just, I liked, on this one, with the light, that, it was, that little awning area around it was, lit up and everything else is into darkness. This just a snapshot sitting in my vehicle. This could be either or. This could, go for the creative side, or if this was on a vacation. That's what I say. You don't have to do one or the other. If there was an iconic landmark, which this is not, it's just an art piece. But if there was a famous landmark like the Bean, or I can't remember which city it's in, Philadelphia maybe, or the Empire State Building, or any place that's a landmark or something, you could be taking a photo of that, documenting your trip, and also take it in a creative manner, or you could just take a snapshot of it. It's that's the beauty with photography, is that you're not set in one mode or the other. Now, sometimes mentally we'll get into that mentality of, I'm just taking creative photos. Later today, I'm hoping on taking a little trip, and I'm planning to bring my Fuji X-T100 with the vintage lenses, but I'm also bringing along my RX100 Mark VI. That way, I'm kind of able to handle any situation. If we find something cool to photograph, I'd like to capture it with the XT1. If we're just, in and out of restaurants, and I just want to take a quick little photo while we're in there, or places where they may frown upon, the interchangeable lens camera, I can go in there with the RX100. And I have run into situations like that where, they were okay with photography to an extent. So it's nice to kind of have that versatility. Now, granted, the place I went to, that was kind of iffy on the photography. I had my A6000, and I just had my little 10-18 on it. So size-wise, it didn't look like a serious camera. It didn't, it just looked like a point and shoot to them, so they didn't really care. And also, I respected their policy on their images, that any images you take are for personal use only. They don't want you going out and printing images of the building and whatnot. This was, I was crossing the street, and there was a break in a pretty good break in traffic, so I was able to snap this photo. Now, I will say this: I actually took this photo and cropped in and straightened it, because there was no way I was going to stop while I was crossing the street. I was crossing in a crosswalk and everything, but I wasn't gonna stop and snap a photo while I was walking. I just took a series of photos as I was walking, and this was the best of the bunch. And I'm not advocating, taking shots in risky spots like that. It's definitely, always put your safety over capturing the image. It might be a once in a lifetime image, but you may, if it's not worth the risk. And this image right here was just, I was thinking of doing like an architecture series of photos, and so I took this one. It's just kind of just an old house, old little very very small house. Like I think the house front to back looked like it was maybe 30 feet, if that. And one thing you can see in these images with, I really like how the ones that are the square crop on them they're the RX100. The others are with the X100F. But I like on the RX100 and I like on the other one on the other camera how they just capture light. Just the way it captures that the detail in the clouds and the contrast, and I have the contrast and the sharpness turned up on the camera. And I'm also shooting, just straight. This is straight out of camera. I may have done a quick edit on the iPad, just a quick adjustment, but I really don't think I did. And this, I don't really remember exactly where this was, but I thought it was kind of cool with the shadow of the trees, and it was one of those. I just took my camera out and looked at how the scene looked, and was like, hey, it's kind of a cool scene. The way around the building, it's a little brighter, and everything else is a little less bright or a little underexposed. But the building in the middle draws your eye. The trees kind of draw you to that part of the scene. And this image right here was just literally, I was in the parking lot of the Home Depot, and I was, one thing I do like capturing is places, kind of, if you were to take a photo of like a gas station where you have the canopy over the pumps and it's all lit up, and around it it's at night and everything else is in shadow. It's just, to me, it's kind of that iconic photo to me that I don't know if it was something I saw at one point, where it's the photo of, I guess this kind of comes from like my car culture background, is that the picture of the car and they're filling up at the gas station, or they're just parked by the pump, and just where the focus is the car at the pump, and you get the nice bright lit up area under the canopy, and everything else is in shadow. Just that to me, I just think it looks cool. So I like capturing the areas where it's dark all around the building, but you have the illumination under the canopy or under an awning or a walkway or something. And this image kind of goes to the documentary side of things, where it's just, car flipped over and took a quick snapshot while driving. I mean, as you can see, or not while driving, while being the passenger in a vehicle. Obviously, if I was driving, I wouldn't have even bothered with trying to take that photo, because then that's how you get secondary crashes to the original crash, and then that's not safe. If you see a crash or something, obviously this, driving up, could see that nobody was in the car. The police were already out there. There was no need to stop to help get anybody out of the vehicle or make sure that they were okay, or contact, appropriate people to help them. So, but always, don't. If you're driving, focus on driving. If you're a passenger vehicle, whatever, snapshots while you're riding. But always, if you see something like this kind of scene, and this is one thing I want to speak on a lot, not a lot, but just with a focus too. If you see a scene like this and someone's could be in danger, while you're driving, you don't see police out there, you don't see the fire department, you don't see EMS, and you don't see someone outside of the car, or worse yet, you see somebody in the car, stop and either, if it's safe to do so, help them out of the vehicle. If not, because sometimes you don't want to move people because you can cause further injury, if they have a neck or a back injury or something. But, it's always, don't, turn off photographer mode and, be a human and help them out. That photo is never worth, not helping them out, or just, I want to snap this photo to put it on social media. Let me take a video of this crash to put online. If you're driving, focus on driving. If you see someone in danger, focus on helping that person if you can. Even if helping them is just saying, hey, I'm here with you. I'm on the phone with the police. They're on their way. They're going to be here soon. Everything's going to be all right. Help's going to be here soon. Doing that, that's the right thing to do. Don't worry about the photo of the car flipped over, or the fiery crash, or whatever it is that might look really cool in a photo. It's the right thing to do is just to help them. And I'm sure most of you all know that, but I think it bothers me the amount I see today in social media with people taking pictures of crashes and posting pictures and all the comments. So it's like, what was the point of taking a photo of that? Was it really worth, not stopping to help them? What's going on here? Sorry for my low rant. This again was just another building. It was to go on with that set of images from before, or image from before. And it's one of those things, I may not take photos that kind of necessarily go together at the same time, but I'll take an image, and then later on I'll take a corresponding image that'll go with that one. And this is, kind of happened to be that one that I might print, the other picture out and this picture and do it in kind of like a collage, image or something. This was just the graffiti and everything, and this was really not taken in either. I wasn't really one to document the graffiti. I didn't, it is what it is. It was really just trying messing around with the camera. So, but I thought it was kind of cool to throw in there, just the texture and the lighting and everything. Kind of wish this scene would have been brighter, and I might take, because this is the JPEG image that's just been adjusted a little bit on the Photos app on the iPad. I might pull this into Affinity or Capture One and actually adjust more on the image, but really not an image to me that is like, hey, I really like that image, or it's really cool. Now it might look cool once I'm done with it and some post-processing, but this is kind of just a continuation of that same wall with stuff on it. That was kind of cool, that image up at the top, though. Looked like the older, probably a sign, or part of a sign for an old business that was there. Same little area. More from the same little area. I was just taking photos in that general area. I don't know how it jumped out of there. And this was, just a quick snapshot. I don't advocate taking pictures like this, but I knew the light had just turned red, so I was comfortable with, snapping off a quick photo. But yeah, so that's the thing. That's to me, photography is just, your expression, your way of capturing the world around you and events that are either meaningful to you, or just, if it's in a creative fashion, that are just interesting to you. So, and that's the beauty of photography, is everybody can have a different style. Everybody can have a different specialty and thing that they're into, and it's, I guess, a lot, like with any art, is you might be a sculptor, but you might make artistic pieces, you might make practical pieces, or if you're into music, you might be a classical musician, you might be a rock musician, a country musician. So there's a lot of genres to explore, and if you're just getting into photography, explore all those different genres that are available. Try out different cameras, different lenses, different combination of lenses. Try modern lenses, get an adapter, buy an old lens, try old lenses, because you may like shooting with a modern 51.8, or you may really enjoy, on that same camera body, more than the 51.8, you may enjoy a 51.7 old, Canon lens or old Nikon lens, an old manual lens with the adjustable aperture on there. So just like with any art form, experiment with different techniques, different styles, different things. You may think, oh, I really want to be a landscape photographer, but you might be really good at macro photography. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm gonna do some landscape photos, but if you're trying to make money with your photography, make money with the macro stuff that you're really good at, and the landscape stuff, let that be just for personal projects. Or just, do like some and just keep photography as your hobby, and maybe make little YouTube videos talking about it and stuff like that, or, do a little bit of professional stuff here and there, and do most of your photography for you. So it's all like I said, like any art form, it's just up to the person on how they choose to do it. So thanks for watching. Hope this video was entertaining to you, and hope maybe you got something out of it. And I don't really care about you hitting that like button or subscribing to my channel. If you want to, do so, but get off the computer, put down the phone, go grab your camera, go grab something, and go out and do something today. So thank you for watching.